10, where Samuel anoints Saul privately, and Saul goes home and back to Gibeah and just waiting on whatever the Lord would have him do. And he is anointed as the word that is used there is captain of the host of Israel. And in the end part of chapter chapter 10, Samuel, verse 24 says, Samuel said to all the people, see ye him whom the Lord hath chosen. There is none like him among all the people. And all the people shouted and said, God save the king. And Samuel told the people the manner of the kingdom, and wrote it in a book, and laid it before the Lord. And Samuel sent all the people away, every man to his house. And Saul also went home to Gibeah, and there went with him a band of men whose heart God had touched. The children of Belial said, how shall this man save us? And they despised him, and brought him no presents, but he held his peace. Now, this is the end of the period of the Judges. And we studied through the Judges some months ago, and looked there concerning the problems that occurred with the Judges. And this was the time. In fact, the book of Judges ends there in chapter 21 of the book of Judges, and it tells us there, the very last verse of the book of Judges is the summation of the whole of the book there during the Judges period. It said, in those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did that which was right in his own eyes. And this is kind of how it's still carrying on when you come to this period here in the first part of the book of Samuel. Much of these things that had been wrong in the land, Samuel, by God's grace, had corrected many of those issues, especially with the priesthood and the wickedness that was going on there. But the people demanded a king, and so God yielded and gave them a king, and Saul is this one whom God has appointed for this time as a captain of the children of Israel to lead them in this time. And so you have these enemies all around Israel here at this point. You have the Philistines that have already been an issue to them in these first 11 chapters, or first 10 chapters that we've looked at already. We see the problem with the Philistines coming in and them attacking Israel and causing the issues that they caused there, even the defeats that they brought to Israel. But you have enemies all around. And not only enemies all around, the children of Israel themselves couldn't get along together. They had issues with each other. They had issues with each other during the book of Judges, and those very issues, even that are found in chapter 20 and 21 there at the end of the book of Judges, carries over here to chapter number 11, particularly during the time of Saul as that first king of Israel. And so we have here one of the enemies of Israel here in chapter 11 that has come against them here, and it is the Ammonites. And we read that there in verse 1 of chapter 11. It says, then Nahash the Ammonite came up and encamped against Jabesh Gilead, and all the men of Jabesh said unto Nahash, make a covenant with us, and we will serve thee. Now, Jabesh Gilead is on the border of Gad and East Manasseh in the northeast part of Israel. And it's way up in the land of Gad and Manasseh there where Jabesh Gilead is located. And so for the Ammonites to come against them, they have encroached in the land of Israel a great way before they even get to the town of Jabesh Gilead to bring this battle to their doorfront. Now, this man here that is leading them, his name is Nahash, and that is the Hebrew word for serpent or even dragon. And so this guy is a serpent. He is a dragon. He is representative of the enemy of Israel, that chief enemy, which is Satan himself, that would come against the children of Israel to try and stop. And it has always been Satan's purpose throughout the Old Testament is to attack the children of Israel to try to stop the birth of the Messiah. He is doing this on every hand in every book that we see here concerning the history of Israel. In these 39 books of the Old Testament, you are seeing Satan raging against Israel to try to stop the coming of the Messiah, because the Messiah is the one that's going to crush his head. And so he's doing everything he can to stop that from taking place. He's doing everything he can to keep that from coming to pass. And he very well knows he don't have the ability to do that, but nevertheless, he continues to strive in that manner. And so this Nahash is his representative here. He comes against Israel. This serpent, the Ammonite, he came up and camped against Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said unto Nahash, make a covenant with us, and we will serve thee. Jabesh Gilead was the Switzerland of their day. Okay, they didn't want to fight in anything. They're in Judges 20 and 21. They're at the end of the book of Judges. There was the battle against Benjamin right there, which is the tribe that Saul belongs to. And when the rest of Israel come out to fight against Benjamin because of the great wickedness that was done there in the city of Gibeah, which is where Saul lives, there was great wickedness done there, and the rest of Israel came out against Gibeah to fight. And when they got done fighting there, after 3 battles, there was 2 battles that Israel got beat. Third battle, the Lord gave them the victory over Benjamin there, and they utterly destroyed the city of Gibeah at that point. And they got to looking around. Who didn't come to our aid? Who was it that didn't come to help fight? And they found out, well, Jabesh Gilead didn't come fight. And so they come against Jabesh Gilead at that time and pretty well destroyed that city because of their refusal to fight with them against Benjamin. Well, here we have a Benjamite that is made king over Israel. And this Jabesh Gilead is the one that is in trouble here. It's an interesting twist here that God gives us from the end of the book of Judges to here in chapter number 11. It was Jabesh Gilead that had refused to fight against the Benjamites. It was the daughters of those of Jabesh Gilead that provided the wives for the Benjamites that were left. And this may be part of the reason we have Saul here going to fight for Jabesh Gilead. But Nahash, the serpent, the Ammonite, comes up, and he comes to fight Jabesh Gilead, and they immediately come out and say, hey, man, we want to make a peace deal with you, and if you'll make a covenant with us, we'll be on your side. We'll serve you. But then he tells them in verse 2, Nahash the Ammonite answered them, on this condition will I make a covenant with you, that I may thrust out all your right eyes and lay it for reproach upon all Israel. So, all right, I'll make a covenant with you. I'll let you be on my side, but I'm going to take every one of your all's right eyes. And then they got to thinking, well, maybe this covenant idea may not be the best option for us. Maybe there's something else that we can do. And it's interesting here that this was their answer to him. Verse 3, the elders of Jabesh said unto him, give us 7 days respite. And they tell him what for. And that's what's interesting here as well, that we may send messengers unto all the coast of Israel, and then, if there be no man to save us, we will come out to thee. They said, give us 7 days to consider this, and while we're waiting in these 7 days, we're going to send out to the rest of the tribes of Israel and see if they'll come over and help us. And if they don't come over and help us, then we'll submit to your treaty, and we'll let you take our right eyes. Now, Jabesh Gilead did not fight for Israel before in Judges 20 and 21. And now their hope is Israel's going to come and fight for them. But it seems to me like they didn't believe that was going to happen, because Nahash didn't believe that was going to happen, because that was not very good diplomacy on his part to say, yeah, I'll give you 7 days to go get you some support, because he didn't believe they was going to get no support. And it appears Jabesh Gilead probably didn't think they was going to get any support either. Well, we'll go 7 days. We hope somebody comes, but if they don't, then we'll submit. We'll submit to your covenant. We'll submit to your plan. And so the serpent comes into Israel, and he comes against this city, Jabesh Gilead. And it tells us there in verse number 4, then came the messengers to Gibeah of Saul and told the tidings in the ears of the people, and all the people lifted up their voices and wept. So that the messengers leave out from Jabesh Gilead. They make it over to Gibeah, and they're telling those in Gibeah, oh, it's an awful thing. Our city is besieged. Nahash has come down to destroy us, and he's threatened to put out our right eyes and to make us his subjects, and we need some help. We need somebody to come over here and help us. And the people wept with them, lifted up their voices and wept. And behold, Saul, verse 5, came after the herd out of the field, and Saul said, what aileth the people that they weep? And they told him the tidings of the men of Jabesh. Saul comes in. He's been working in the field. He's been out plowing. That's not the place that you'd usually find a king, but that's where Saul was. He was out plowing. He comes in from the field, and they tell him there that what's going on. And it says, the Spirit of God came upon Saul when he heard those tidings, and his anger was kindled greatly. His anger was kindled greatly. Go back to Judges chapter 6 and look with me just a moment at some other examples of such. Judges chapter 6 and verse number 34. Judges chapter 6 and verse 34. Here, this is speaking concerning Gideon, as he would lead the children of Israel, as he would be the judge over them, and he had some enemies that needed to be destroyed that were coming against Israel at this time. It tells us there, verse 34, but the Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and he blew a trumpet, and Abiezer was gathered after him. So the Spirit of the Lord came on him. In chapter 14, Judges 14 and verse number 6. Judges 14 and verse number 6. This is Samson, and he's on his way to get his wife, and after a time he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see. No, I'm reading the wrong verse. Verse 6. And the Spirit of the Lord came mightily upon him, and he rent him as he would have rent a kid, speaking of that lion that come out and attacked him. And he had nothing in his hand, but he told on his father and his mother what he had done. The Spirit of the Lord came on him. He killed this lion with his bare hands. The Spirit of the Lord came upon Gideon, and Gideon was ready to go and do what the Lord had commanded him, although he would have some tests there for the Lord that he would inquire of the Lord concerning. And we see here also the Spirit of the Lord coming upon Saul. Now, this is important here, the Spirit of the Lord coming upon them, because it's only by the Spirit of the Lord that we have power to do anything. It's only by the Spirit of the Lord that we are able to serve Him and to follow after Him, to be faithful to Him. It's only by His power that we are able to do and serve our Lord as He's called us to. And as the Lord said, without me you can do nothing. We need the Spirit of God for everything. And we need the wondrous part about this is here in the Old Testament, in these instances that we're looking at, this is His empowerment for His people during this time to go and to do, to fight these battles and so on. The wondrous thing is our Lord gives us His Spirit, and His presence is always with us. And we need that presence of our Lord continually every day, and we're to go to Him and seek His face and seek His presence as we go in and out through our day, because it's only by Him that we can serve and do as He's called us to serve and do. And so here the Spirit of the Lord comes upon Saul, and it empowers Saul to go with this boldness, to go and to serve, to go and to lead the children of Israel here. And his anger was kindled greatly. It made him very angry that Nahash had come in. It made him very angry that Nahash had made such a pronouncement against Jabesh Gilead. And he took, it says, verse 7, he took a yoke of oxen and hewed them in pieces and sent them throughout all the coast of Israel by the hands of messengers, saying, whosoever cometh not forth after Saul and after Samuel, so shall it be done unto his oxen. And the fear of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out with one consent. And so all of Israel comes out here to fight on behalf of Jabesh Gilead, with Saul as their captain that was going to lead them into battle. And when he numbered them in Bezek, in verse 8, it says the children of Israel were 300,000, and the men of Judah 30,000. Now there are those that claim that maybe this proves here that this is written. 1 Samuel is actually written after the division of the kingdom there in Rehoboam and Jeroboam's day, because here Judah is mentioned separately from the rest of Israel. I don't know necessarily that's the case, but that might be a good hint there that is what's taking place. But Judah is mentioned separately from the rest of Israel here in this passage. And so Saul, he slaughters his 2 oxen. He sends pieces to every tribe and city and commanded that they come and help him fight, or else he was going to come and cut up all their oxen. And so everybody said, no, I like my pair of oxen. I want to be able to plow my field, so I better go and help here with the fight against Ammon. And so they responded. 330,000 came out and assembled in Bezek, and that's 17 miles north of Shechem's where they come in at. And there's a promise here of deliverance that's given to Jabesh Gilead. Verse 9, they said unto the messengers that came, thus shall ye say unto the men of Jabesh Gilead tomorrow, by that time the sun be hot, ye shall have help. And the messengers came and showed it unto the men of Jabesh, and they were glad. And so they're told, we're going to come fight for you. We're going to come defend you against this snake. Therefore the men of Jabesh said, tomorrow we will come out unto